Alright, hello everybody. Firefall's here, coach of the Panjam Pianists, and I'm here to bring you a season report. This is from a singles draft league called BFR that I'm in. You might recognize some other familiar faces here. Jace is one of the moderators, actually the owner of the league, and one of the moderators. This season is a little bit special. It got split into two different conferences. One is singles, which I'm in, and the other is VGC, which a bunch of other people are in. I tend to play VGC in a couple of other leagues, and this is my dedicated singles league, so I wanted to keep that up. But that's not what makes this season special. This is what was called a free draft, which means basically, as you can probably see by the Pokemon I have, you don't have a point total to spend. So you're going to have a very high-powered team. Normally stuff like, and this is also net decks, as you can see, Tapu Koko's here. Normally stuff like Tapu Koko Bundle would be even banned normally. Hands, Ogerpon, Tinglu would all be like very high, like 15 to 20 pointers. You would not be able to fit them all on the same team, unless you had a really expanded budget, which this basically is. But let's go over the basics of the draft real quick. So we had a sync draft, which means everyone puts in their choice at the same time, and the person who bids the most gets the Pokemon. Normally with a draft where you have points to spend based on Mons, so let's say that Tapu Koko is 20, you can bid extra points, and whoever bids the most extra points gets it. So I put 5 extra points into Tapu Koko. If it costs 20 and someone else bets 4, I would get Tapu Koko for 25 points. That's not how it works here because, you know, it's a free draft. Mons don't have point values. So instead we have these things called flinch bucks. Everyone gets 5, and it basically says, okay, hey, if you flinch, you can use any amount of these flinch bucks on a Pokemon, but you only have 5 across the entire season. So if you use yours all at once, you're not going to be able to get any Mon that you flinch on for the rest of the time. Now you can see some people didn't use their flinch bucks, like Agent who did a lot of transactions, Fadi, the Steve didn't use any. Some people did manage to successfully use flinch bucks on multiple Pokemon, like Cloby here, and Kingambit and Corviknight. Those are pretty good pickups. Washer Machine with Torrentee and Terapagos. There are some trades there. And you know, even Jace with Iron Valiant and Exegem. Some others decided, one other decided, let's spend everything all at once to get Tapu Koko, because it's the Mon that I want for the draft. And I did flinch on this all the way up to 5 with Snarfy, who was kind enough to kind of let it go for 5 so I could get it instead of it being banned off the board. Which probably proved to be a mistake because Electric Terrain is pretty broken in free draft. As you can see, I got 3 Terrain Abusers, Bundle, Crown, Hands, plus Electric Sea potential and other Mons. And you'll really see that play out with these games. One thing to note about this team, though, is that originally it was Mega Latias, and I only dropped it the final week for Moltres, and that was because I felt like I was really lacking significant fire-type damage on the team, and that was something I was repeatedly coming into. But let's go over the actual matches themselves. I mean, you can see my full draft here. Well, we'll go over the draft plan real quick. So the way I like to draft is that I like to have a lot of pivoting potential. So most Mons you see here are going to have a pivoting move. I like to have one very bulky special wall and one very bulky physical wall. And then I do like to have multiple defensive Pokemon if I have the option, but those are must-haves. So we have Blissey, which is obviously one of the best special walls in the game. Fighting type, special types, special attackers are kind of hard to come around. And then for the physical side, we also have a combination of Hands, Tinglu, and Okidogi. One important thing to note is that everyone had a starter Mon that cost 7 on the expected price board. You were given 3 of these at random, and you could choose which one you wanted. I got the option between Okidogi, Whimsicott, and Braviary Hisui. And I chose Okidogi because I had just gotten a puppy. And so I asked my wife, which one do you want? She said, take the dog. It's a dog. You need to take the dog. So I took Okidogi. And that turned out to be a great investment. But yeah, you can see this team synergy is basically all about Electric Terrain. Bundle is so fast that in electric terrain with a speed booster, it is outspeeding almost every single Scarf Mon in the format. It is very hard to outspeed Bundle if I want it to be fast, which is very useful. The team in general is also fast. Coco outspeeds most of the format as well. A 111 on Thunderous means it's outspeeding all the 110 Mons. And of course, Ogerpon with its Terra, because yes, this Mon was allowed to Terra. You have 2 Terra captains. They can be any Terra type that's available for them, but it's open Terra, so people can see your Terra ahead of time. Closed team sheets otherwise. But yeah, so I picked up a Terra captain of Ogerpon. So I could get the speed boost and I could get the damage boost on grass type attacks, those big Ivy Cudgels. And then the other Terra captain of the very, very versatile Iron Crown, which can be run offensively, defensively. It synergizes so well with Electric Terrain because it can run items that are not booster, which it really likes to have. So I can boost up its speed, go for those calm mind sweeping sets. It's very good, and having a steel type is also very useful for switch-ins. Ting Lu, of course, is here as the main setter. Spikes, rocks, both of them. It gets those up. It doesn't die. It does a lot of damage. Iron Hands here is a tanky kind of sweeper. I mean, it's not going to sweep through teams, but it's a good 2-for-1 Mon. You're generally going to be getting a lot of damage out onto the opponent with this, and it's not going to be taking much back, especially with Drain Punch. Get that attack booster up, Drain Punch is going to be doing so much damage that you heal back pretty much everything. You shrug off super effective hits because of how tanky you are, especially with like an Assault Vest or something. Thunderous obviously does not get the Electric Terrain boost because it is a flying type, unless you're running something like Gravity or Iron Ball. But it's just got good pivot potential. My team is pretty ground weak without the flying types, so I felt it was pretty important to get something like that. And, you know, overall, we only have 2 other electric types on this team, so I didn't feel like it was too bad. And then the elephant in the room here is Brambleghast, right? Brambleghast, not a considerably good Pokemon in singles most of the time. Where is it on this board? Yeah, this might be the lowest pick that anyone got. I think it is. Expected price about 6. It's a free draft, so I could have taken anything. I could have taken Mega Garchomp, Mega Mawile. It's up here as a joke. I could have taken Mega Gallade. What's on? I got Weavile. I could take Weavile, Rotom Wash, Victini. But I chose Brambleghast. And why is that? Brambleghast is one of 2 Pokemon that is a Ghost type and gets Rapid Spin. And those 2 options are basically Brambleghast and Delmise. And they're about the same place on the board. They kind of have similar resources available to them. Delmise is bulkier, but it's much slower. Brambleghast is faster. It's 90 base speed, but it's not quite as bulky. But Brambleghast also gets something like Strength Sap. But the real reason I took Brambleghast over Delmise is because it can also set up spikes. So this Mon is like a 1 Mon kind of just hodgepodge of everything. You can block, Rapid Spin, you can Rapid Spin yourself, and you can set up spikes. And also, you know, you can stay alive by reducing the opponent's attack, getting all that back with Strength Sap. Plus, the stabs are just ridiculously powerful. They're inaccurate, you know, Power Whip, Poltergeist, but they're powerful. And of course, my starter, Okidogi. We talked about that a little bit. Okidogi is just very bulky in general, 88, 115. Its attack is pretty high, 128, not pretty high, it's very high. It's the highest on my team, other than Iron Hands. High enough that you often don't need to run an investment on it if you want to go for tankier sets, either Assault Vest or Max Special Defense. Speed is not the greatest, but oftentimes I'll just forego speed so that I can go second and get as much health back as I can with Drain Punch. Obviously, its ability, Toxic Chain, is really nice for that poison chance. Yeah. Well, I think the team makes a lot of sense looking at it together, and it is very powerful. When I had Megalodius on this over Moltres, all of these numbers were green. Megalodius is obviously, you know, 700 BST, I think, or is it 690? It's one of those. It's pretty broken. I had a hard time using it because of the mega restriction and the item slot that I wasn't allowed to use, and I just felt like it oftentimes wasn't fulfilling what I wanted it to do on the team to its best potential, which is why I replaced it with Moltres. But you will see Megalodius in some of these replays. So let's get into it. Week 1, we're going up against Cloby. Cloby's team, if we look right here, led by Terra Captain Tapu Fini, a pretty terrifying Mon. There's also a Terra Superior here, not brought to the battle, thankfully. But we got some monsters on this. You got a squad with Kyurem, Cinderace, King Gambit, Garchomp, and then defensive core of Corviknight and Tapu Fini. This is pretty dangerous. But then again, I'm outspeeding everything here. I mean, the only thing that's even remotely close is Cinderace, 370s max, and even Tapu Koko is outspeeding that. So I don't quite remember all the sets, but I'll be trying to go through them as I remember them. But let's just get into the replay, see how it goes. So we have a bundle into Garchomp lead. That's pretty great for me. I believe this might be Specs this time. Yeah, look at that Ice Beam doing 67. That's super Specs. I basically said, I want to chip you down enough that I can just win the game with bundle. Tapu Fini takes a nice 27%. Its leftovers, Misty Terrain goes up. I just thought that up by putting into my my own Tapu Koko. So it's a Calm Mind set, which can get a little scary, and it is Terra Fairy, which will be revealed in a second as to why. But a second Calm Mind, I'm like, okay, I have Iron Crown, I have Tachyon Cutter, I have my own Calm Minds, I should be able to force this out. Shadow Ball does a little more than I'd like it to, and it does unfortunately drop my special defense. I commit the Terra earlier so that I don't have to worry about that. I know a Water move is probably not coming out this turn. So I take the other Shadow Ball, I get some good chip down. I'm like, okay. They switch out because I do threaten a KO now. I get a nice about 40% on King Gambit. I am now, you know, in... Oh, okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, Terra Blast. Terra Blast is very good. I might have been in range of a Sucker Punch. I probably was. But Clobby obviously didn't go for it, whether they were going for a Swords Dance expecting a switch or like a Kowtow Cleave to try to get to guaranteed damage. I get the first KO there with Iron Crown. Get some HP recovery. That's going to be very important with leftovers. And obviously a +1 special attack. This thing's going to shred through a lot. Kyurem comes out. Kyurem comes out in front of this. I'm thinking it has to be Scarf. But I look at my team and there's nothing that really wants to switch into that freeze dry, right? Bundle will take too much. Bundle's very weak on the special defense side. It's very frail. And I just don't want to get the chip up on the Iron Hands. So I believe I just say, I'm just going to stay in and let this go down. Which, you know, obviously works out for me because this is not Scarf. Whether it's Specs or something else, I do get the KO. I'm fine letting this go down because, you know, it still does check Tapu Fini because Tapu Fini's much lower now. I don't feel like I need it as much, and this is the main mon that I would have needed it for Kyurem. So Kyurem is Scarf. I'm not really getting much use out of this anyways. And I'd rather get the free switch into something such as, you know, Bundle to start threatening stuff, depending on what move goes for, like an Ice Beam that I can start threatening immediately with Free Giant to the whole team. Yeah, I could even go out to Latias Mega, tank it, and then kill back. But yeah, Kyurem goes down. So that's very good for me because Kyurem was a big threat. Cinderace comes out. Hands is a pretty good switch in here because I think I'm max defense. I take 33, which is pretty meaningful. But in the end, it's not the craziest amount. I go for a Volt Switch to keep on momentum. It goes in Garchomp so it doesn't work out. And I hard switch here because Bundle's defense is shockingly high, so I can tank that with ease. And that's time for another kill. Ice Beam just KO something here. There's no reason to freeze dry anymore. It's just all Ice Beam. So Pyro Ball comes in, or comes out as I switch into Tapu Koko, which I believe might be max HP here. I know I can survive one and I want the terrain up or momentum. I need to force this out. If this goes into Tapu Fini, I can just Volt Switch on it. Even if I lose terrain, I'll be fine there. So I U-turn out, they stay in, so I'm okay. I'm gonna go to Latias. I can take a hit pretty well. I can Mega Bright back. U-turn's gonna do a good chunk of damage. 51% is a good chunk. So I go out to Tapu Fini, and I go for Recover because I just want my HP back up high. That might not have been the best play though, because I didn't think about draining Kiss with Terra Fairy, and they are out healing my damage. So I need to make some quick adjustments. I go back out to Iron Crown. I give them a lot of HP back. I'm like, okay, I can at least threaten a little bit with Tachyon Cutter here. I do some good damage to Garchomp, bring it down to 57%. And I'm like, okay, it's time to sack Tapu Koko. I don't really need the speed anymore. Bundle outspeeds entire team because I've confirmed that none of these mons are Scarf. So even if I lose a terrain war, I don't really need it anymore. It's not boosting any of my physical stats, other than on hands, which I don't think is really going to be needing it. It loses the guard chomp, it loses the Feeny. When it's out against Cinderace, it can take on everything and KO back anyways. So I'm pretty much just letting Tapu Koko die. I'm going out with a Brave Bird. I want to keep them alone as I can. Okay, I saved it as a sack actually. See, I don't remember all these matches that well. Great Ice Beam predict there. Draining Kiss would not have killed me. Ice Beam does. Iron Bundle comes back out. Bundle does threaten KO with Ice Beam, I believe, so this is a guard chomp sack, and you're forced to go out to Cinderace here. Thankfully, I have enough HP that I can come back in one more time, so I sack Koko to the rocks. Never mind, I sack it to the attack. This is boots. So I sack it to the attack, so I can get terrain back up. And now Iron Hands is not going to be killed by whatever, and it does KO because Electro Trains are up, or if you switch out, it's K and Feeny. So I just have to let one more thing go back down, and then I can go back out to Bundle and close this up. As you can see, Bundle's going to be a game closer pretty commonly throughout this season because it's very powerful. Except for there, it doesn't quite get the KO. I thought it would. It doesn't. I don't remember that even. Thundurus gets to come out, gets to click its last move, gets the KO. So pretty close because of Feeny. Feeny with Draining Kiss and Calm Mind would have been a really big issue. I think we was able to force it out because of Tachyon Cutter earlier with Iron Crown. But if it had gotten the chance to set up all the way and just kept on clicking those +2 Draining Kisses, I don't know if I would be able to break through. This was a bulk up Electric Seed set, so I would have been able to do some good physical damage at least, but I don't know if I would have been able to outpace it. That's game one. That's week one. I'm 1 victory, 2-0 differential. Second week, we're going up against Agent. This is before Agent's big team swap. As you can see now, Agent's team is very stall-oriented. You have Skarmory, Toxapex, Chansey, Clodsire, Ditto, and then you have a variety of offensive threats here. Urshifu, Rapid, Heracross, Mega, Sneasler, Iron Moth, Terra Captain's pretty nasty, Archaludon, Terra Captain's nasty, Ursaluna Bloodmoon. This is a little bit different. You have Pelipper here right now. You have Basket Legion here right now. It's a Rain team, right? So when I go up against Rain, I have to bring some kind of counter to that. And that's all gonna lie on Thundurus's shoulders with, I think it's Sunny Day. So let's see how it goes. Let's see if I can remember these sets too. Oh yeah, okay, very funny thing here. This Okidoki is max HP and 0 attack investment. I don't remember what the other stat is, but it's not attack. Ditto obviously copies all my stats other than HP. I have Psychic Things just in case of the Ditto matchup, and also Sneasler. And they go for knockoff here, and I go for Psychic Things and KO them. They thought I would have to switch because Psychic Things would KO. Psychic Fangs actually would leave me at like 12% on a max roll. I looked at it. Because of how tanky this thing is, and when its attack is not invested, it's decently strong, but you know, a non-stat move. It was bulky enough. I mean, it might have been max defense even. It was bulky enough to survive it. Obviously not the same because Ditto's HP is much less. It's a 60 base or 50 base, I think. It's one of those. So yeah, I get a great turn 1 because I go for a knockoff predict when I don't switch. Ditto's out of there. Ditto's very scary because if Ditto comes in on Bundle, for example, it can do really, really dangerous things. It's really good into Ogerpon as well, especially if you get my Embody Aspect boost if I have Terrid. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. We have Pelipper coming in here. I switched out to Brambleghast expecting a Hurricane, but they go for a Smart Scald instead. No burn, thankfully. I said, okay, I'm just going to start getting my hazards up. Heavy Duty Boots go out. A Strength Sap so I can get a bunch of HP back. They're going to defog, but because I'm faster, I can just keep on clicking spikes, and eventually when they U-turn, one's going to stay. Spike is very, very good into this team. All of these mons like having high HP. If they're sturdy on Archaludon, not anymore, unless it's Boots. If there was Focus Sash on Sneasler, not anymore. This is like the problem on the team though. Whether it's Swift Swim or Adaptability, these attacks are going to hurt. The Shadow Ball is going to do crazy damage. So I switch back out to Thundurus. they Terra Water immediately, presumably scared that I would survive somehow, and hit back with a grass type attack. 52% special defense drop. It is Life Orb. They switch here, expecting something, probably maybe Thunder Wave. I do click the Thunder Wave, and I turn it to Sun instead of Rain, so Electric Shot doesn't do anything. Volt switch out on this. This mon is also very scary because it starts setting up and then just does ridiculous damage. Look at that, 56 resisted. This is actually a bit of a misplay. I got very bailed out by that crit as you saw there. But by going into this and giving this an extra boost with Poltergeist, that was normally doing, I think like something like 20%. It makes it harder for my other physical mons that can actually do big super effective damage to break through. So I did get very lucky with that crit, admittedly. And then also the para. Poltergeist would not have killed from there, but they switch out while I just get up a second layer of spikes. I'm going to Strength Sap some HP right back. Defog, you know, get rid of the spikes again. Makes a lot of sense. I want that spike to stay up. You can spam defog as much as you like, but that one's staying up. And then I start going for damage, because if they kill me, then I can go out something that threatens a KO back. If they defog, then I just put up a spike and I get the next turn. They choose to go for the kill. Smart. So Spike's there to stay unless they can defog at some point, but I'm not going to give them the chance to. Well, okay, I quite literally do give them the chance to there. But in front of this mon that has Volt Switch, staying is kind of crazy. I guess you need chip on it for something. I don't know what you really need chip on it for here. I think everything could kill it from half. But I do Slain Day so that Pelipper is forced to switch out if it wants to get it back up, and it doesn't. It's just a sack. So we go back out to Okidogi. Okidogi can take a hit from everything here. I'm not sure why the Archalon sack here. Might get a little bit of HP recovery back. And we go out to Urshifu. Urshifu can't do much damage. Okay, I just don't think these mons can really beat this. I bet you that this mon potentially can. Yeah. Shadow Ball does a lot. You need to shut me down so your range. I get it. It's smart. You do survive. That's pretty big. So you're gonna be able to KO, but I want my differential plus. You know, I don't lose out on my differential. Sneasler comes out here. I'm like, okay, I cannot let this thing SD ever. If it SDs, then I do have a chance of losing with Unburden. So I Terra. I get that speed bonus, and I'm just gonna attack what's in front of me. And I do 77. They do SD. And of course faster now, so I don't need to worry about that. They can't just throw out for close combat and get unburdened. Nice game. It's week 2. Get a little bit of luck with the crit and the para. But overall, the team is functioning exactly like I had imagined it. This week, I did not even set up Electric Terrain once, because Coco never came in, I believe. This was really all a Bramblegast and Thunderous and Okidogi match. Those are the stars. Plundle didn't hit the field, Coco didn't hit the field, you know, Ogerpon only at the end. But it's showing how some of my flex pieces on this team really do work well with the main Electric Terrain core. Week 3, we're going up against the funniest team in the league, which is Iger's. Iger begged mods to let them Terra Dragapult. There are Terra bans when it comes to single star. That's a little spoiler. That's also a spoiler. Where are we? Here we go. There are some Terra bans. All of these mods are Terra bans. Some of mine are on their bundles. Terra band, for example. Where are you? Where's bundle? Iron Bundle. There we go. Iron Bundle's Terra band. Is that it? That might be it. Well, bundle is banned. But other mons that you would expect to see here, Blaziken for its speed boost, Spathor for speed boost, Gouging Fire, Iron Boulder, Iron Valiant. Basically, these mons that just with Terra are just really oppressive. Dragapult was one of them, as you can see right here. But Iger convinced mods to let them take a team of fully not evolved Pokemon. Mostly first stage Pokemon at that, plus the starter, which was Wochim, if they could Terra Dragapult. And first week, Wooper nearly swept Jace, except for Jace clicked an illegal move, so Wooper did sweep Jace. So I bring a lot of Wooper tech into this. I made my team purposely a lot sillier this week to kind of match Iger's, because I just want to have more of a fun battle rather than a really serious go all out kind of. So we'll see that here. So we're leading out with Bundle, and we have a Hazard lead versus my sub Whirlpool kind of degenerate set here. Struggle Bug's not going to do anything to this. And I just feel like, okay, I'm just going to get Whirlpool down here. I have no special attack investment, so it's really doing nothing, but Whirlpool's doing a lot of work. And I'm just going to do damage over time until Endeavor hits the field. I'm like, oh no. Okay, something's going to get Endeavored here before I can attack because of speed boost, which is smart. I'm looking at all these mons, and I like all of them better as checks into something like Dragapult or the rest of these mons than Iron Bundle. So I say, okay, I'm fine with Bundle going down to, 12%. Get rid of Whirlipede, that's fine. It's basically a 1-to-1. You just go to Dragapult because Dragapult can kill it here, and it does. I just let it go down. I don't want to let the setup. Setting up is how I lose. If it Dragon Dances, I'm in dangerous shape because I don't have Tapu Koko. There's no speed booster on Iron Crown here. The only way I can outspeed Pult right now is with Ogre Paw and going with Terra. So I got to Lou. Lou's a really great answer here. We kind of forced a switch. Hit Ruination so I can do that 50%. And Leftover so I can heal some. I do get Encored into that. So you're going down to quarter health. I switch out. I don't want to be in against this thing when it just gets to move for free. Bring in Okidogi, which can kill from there. Sandshrew here is a bit scary. If you can SD up, this thing can actually do some significant damage with Rapid Spin and Earthquake sets. So I go back out to my Tinglu. This thing goes for Super Fang and lowers half my HP. So far, Iger's done a really great job of kind of mitigating the disadvantages of having a not fully evolved team by going for moves that do guaranteed damage. And there's that monster Wooper. This Wooper's Terra Fairy, I believe. Yeah, Terra Fairy on both of these, which means that my Iron Crown is good into both of them if they Terra. But here we go. I want to trap this thing in here, do Sand Tomb to it. Well, I wanted to do that to the Sandshrew. Not so sure about Wooper. Go out to Blissey because Blissey is my Wooper answer in a way that no one will expect. What happened next may shock you. I have a Power Herb Solar Beam just for Wooper. So I get it. I get the kill. Obviously Stantler switches in there, Sapsipper's gonna go off. I don't get that attack. But I also have Recycle, so I can get my Power Herb back and Solar Beam again later. But now Blissey's done its job. I don't need to click it anymore, even on Sandshrew or anything, right? So I'm just gonna Wish Up, keep my HP high, do tiny damage. Tinglu gets his HP back up. Thank you for the roar. And now I can just keep on doing the same kind of stally tactics I've been doing, trapping them in with Sand Tomb. I do get Toxic, so we're both on a timer here. I'm just gonna get some hazards up. They're gonna roar me out. Blissey's gonna come right back out. Blissey's now, I think, in range of being KO'd, so I just let it go down. So I can get the free switch in. Okidogi, of course, now threatening with that Drain Punch. I do go for the Drain Punch. I don't think you're gonna go to Dragapult and risk a knockoff there, because knockoff's really good into this team anyways. I do get a poison there. I see that it's a counter Super Fang set, which is really cool. But without Eviolite, yeah, you're not surviving. So Dragapult can come out here. I am in danger of the Terra Fairy Dragon Dance. And I do go for the knockoff. So now I'm like, okay, this is a little scary, but Tinglu's at high enough HP that should be able to take care of it. Also, so is Iron Crown. Iron Crown kind of walls it. If it has Phantom Force, I do have a Terra. What's my Terra? My Terra is Fairy as well. Yeah, a lot of Terra Fairies. So I say, okay, yeah. I'm going to attack. I miss because there's nothing there. We already saw that its item was knocked off, so I didn't have to worry about Power Herb. And now I can Terra freely. I will take this. On a crit, there's a chance that I just lose the game. But I don't. And I kill back. And then after that, Stantler is the last one to go down here. Tachion's not going to quite get it. but they get a para. I switched because I want to save my differential. This can't get parried and it can't do enough damage, so that's game. You know, I half serious sets, half joke sets. Bundle, Blissey, and Tinglu were obviously all kind of like jokey sets, except for Santoon's kind of real. But yeah, fun match. 3-0 after the first 3 weeks. Now we're going up against Bill. Bill's kind of my rival in this league. It always seems that way. We did 2 mock tests together before the season began, just to kind of get a feel for our teams. And the first game, Landorus gave Ogerpon a Defiant, and Ogerpon kind of swept from the get-go. Basically just did so much damage to the team that I couldn't recover from there. So game 2 of the mocks, Billy brought Explosion, lead Landorus to deal with it, and it did deal with it. So I come into this, seeing that Terra normal, I'm like, okay, of course this is Explosion, but what item is it? It could be Focus Sash. I really think it might be Focus Sash, but on the chance it's not Focus Sash, Ogerpon just sweeps from a lead, like thoroughly, and that's kind of worth it because of the attack boost you get from Intimidate, right? So I say, okay, if it is Focus Sash lead, then maybe I lose Ogerpon right away, but that's okay. What I shouldn't have done here is Terra. I Terra because I don't want it to be Scarf, and then to KO me with like some kind of power herb set. But of course it is Sash, and it's gonna go boom, and I'm dead. So we lost our Terras. Terra for Terra. I lost my best mon into this team, or at least one of them. It's not. I mean, it deals with these 4 mon very well. An Amorous, I have Rock Tomb for it, but it will probably survive one, and you know, obviously Contrary's dangerous with that. Go to Coco to just set up my terrain. This is a good position for me to be in. You do have Treads, so I can't Volt Switch easily, so I do have U-turn for that. And I go to Tinglu. You can't really do too much against this. You can set up hazards, but you're going to be taking massive damage from Earthquake. You can go out to an Amorous if you want to, but he just chooses to remove the terrain. I say go for rocks there, expecting an Amorous switch. You get the Rapid Spin and get rid of the rocks, and I go for that second Earthquake to get rid of it. Because either rocks stay up or Iron Treads goes down. Iron Treads goes down, which means Electric type is suddenly free. I'm going back out to Coco because I think I live a... Nope, I don't. I think there was a chance that I lived that. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just needed a sack. If this was banded, I don't really have any switch-ins that can survive 2. So I think that's actually just a sack so I can get the terrain up so Bundle can outspeed. Because this is banded, that can't go for Jet Punch or anything. I do flip turn expecting the Slowking to come in. This Slowking is a problem. The Slowking is very bulky, and as you'll see soon is AV, which is probably the only reason that I win this. If it didn't have AV and it was able to slack off, I don't know if I could have gotten through it. But I do have Tinglu come back out here. I'm threatening again with Earthquake. They switch out to Enamorous, as I believe I go for Stealth Rock, yeah. Now Enamorous can threaten me back with Moonblast. I do take a significant chunk there, but I'm saying just get out of there. I don't want you in there anymore. Roaring Moon comes in. I was hoping to pop a Photosynthesis booster energy, but it doesn't have one, which means 2 things to me. Either it's Scarf, which is really bad for me, or it's not Scarf, which is really good for me. And we're just not going to figure that out for a while. U-turn does big damage there, 33%, and with that we know the item, it's banded. I did not realize that at the time. I really should have checked. This is max defense Tinglu, especially because I can survive a banded wave crash, but only 1. But that means that I am faster than it with Bundle, which is really important for when Electric Train comes back down. You take the Stealth Rock damage. I get a Spike Up because I say I just want as much damage on this Slowking as I can every time it comes in. And yeah, Blissey just checks an Amorous. Even Superpowers aren't doing too much damage. You go back out to Palafin. I'm going to get my damage off with Toxic. Alright, and now we're in a position where after Protect, something's going to go down again. You have a Close Combat. I don't have any switch-ins for Close Combat. I look at my options. Blissy's still good into Slowking, it's still good into Enamorous. Tinglu's so low that it's not really going to be doing anything. It can still survive an attack from Slowking and threaten it back, but I say this is the sack I'm going to make. I'm just going to deal with Slowking in a different way. I know it's going to be hard, but I will figure it out. So I let Tinglu go down here to the close combat. Palafin, very low now. If you switch next turn, you're going to be dying to hazards. So Bundle's very free here, and I can freely go for a Freeze Dry, which I believe I go for. I might also go for, yeah, just an Ice Beam just to do as much damage. Yeah, that makes sense. Ice Beam 21%. That's max special defense. Nearly max special defense, I believe. Assault Vest. That's kind of crazy. It still does that much damage, though. But then I flip turn after. I get it pretty low. It does not have regeneration through Slack Off, so it can only use Regenerator to do so. I need to keep this thing low. I bring out Iron Crown. I tank the Psychic Noise. It does nothing to me because I'm Iron Crown. Iron Crown also has Psychic Noise here. That was my answer to Slack Off. But I don't need to worry about that. So I keep the momentum up saying, okay, if you want to switch out to something else, I want to be back in. If you want to keep Slowking in, I'm going to deal damage. Bliss is going to take nothing from whatever you want to go for. They go for Flamethrower, it does nothing. And now they switch into Enamorous. While I get a Wish so that I can just keep something healthy when it comes back in. I'm a little confused because I'm like, Enamorous doesn't really threaten me, even with a superpower, it's not going to be doing enough. Which is when the big mistake comes in. Healing Wish. Uh-oh. Okay, so something's going back up to full HP. That's really, really bad. The Slowking going back to the HP would make it just really difficult to take down. So the Healing Wish back up. My Wish goes off, but they bring out Palafin instead, which I think was a game-losing mistake. If Slowking got enough HP, I don't think I would have been able to break it in time with these mods. Because I think Roaring Moon still can KO Blissey and has enough switch-ins to do so with that, and Iron Crown can KO both of them as knockoff. Bundle never breaks through Slowking. But because Palafin comes back out here, I say, okay, I can let Iron Crown go down. But it doesn't. It survives because I have Bulk in it. Which I don't know if I necessarily need it because I could have killed with Freeze Dry from there, but it's definitely very useful because now I don't have to worry about Palafin ever coming back out again. I don't remember if I specifically made that calc in mind for Banded. I might have, because that seemed pretty intentional to survive from 100%, 92. It might be max HP or something. But I Volt Switch, so I get rid of Palafin, and I send out Bundle, so you are forced to go into Slowking. I do not want Roaring Moon coming out here. So you're forced to go into Slowking. You're going to take a lot of chip again from coming in. And I do threaten a 2-8 KO now. So that does a lot of damage and gets the poison, 60%, but it's not enough. And Ice Beam's going to KO from there. I did not have to risk a Hydro Pump or anything. And of course, we saw earlier that this was banded, and so that's going to be the end of the game, and Bundle closes it out again. Whew, so that's a little bit over halfway through the season. That's 4 out of 7 games. We're 4-0. So far, what have we learned? Bundle is very, very powerful and kind of broken. Not even kind of, it's just very broken. And then my team's defensive core is holding up the way I want it to. So we're going to go into week 5 here. It's against Matt's. Matt's team is kind of, like, very well-rounded, if I have to say. I forget that Darkrai and just Sleep in general doesn't work in electric terrain, so I bring a Lumberry on Tapu Koko, which ends up popping on Glamora instead, so it's still useful, but I forgot about that. This Terra Salamence is what I'm most scared of, because of its setup potential. Right next to Quackable as well, Glamora being able to put me on a timer. I know that I need to hit this team hard and fast, which is why, once again, Tapu Koko is going to be helping Bundle get that just booster speed up. So let's get into it. Okidogi's here as well. We lead with Crown into Meowscarada. Very badly for me, but that's okay. I have something very easy to choose to come in here. I go into Okidogi. 26. I don't remember if that's banded or not, but I get a lot of HP back from Drain Punch into the Scissor. Scissor goes for that Roost, but I have prepared for this. I have Fire Punch. I bring them down to 91, or to 9. They switch back out. Go for the knockoff. It's pretty free. Toxic Breed goes up, but as long as I can switch back in Okidogi, I can absorb it, which is the main reason that Okidogi's here. Also, because it does check some of these mons pretty well. I do not want to get hit with Earth Power, so I go into my Boots Blissey, which does get poison here, but because of Natural Cure, I don't really need to worry about it. I say I want you slowed down. I go for Sockwold so I can have as much health as I can. I take more chip and I say, okay, alright, maybe I'm not going to be having much health. I get crit there. Oh, I'm down to 28%, but I am faster. I'm just going to switch out now on this supposedly Sludge Bomb. They get, unfortunately, paralyzed. Attacking Cutter is going to just take it from there. And now the threat of Salamence comes back out. I believe this is Terra Ground. Yes. Alright, Blissey's... I kind of let it get lower than it should have. It's not going to be doing much for the rest of this battle. It still could check Clefable. It's not going to be enough to check Nidoking. So I decide to sack it down here to the Salamence. Salamence goes for Earthquake. Makes sense. It gets a Moxie boost. Makes sense. I think, okay, Terra Ground Earthquake. Looking at my team. Moxie, this is Scarf, isn't it? This is Scarf, and you're just going to have to spam Earthquakes on me. So go to Tapu Koko so that I can get the Electric Terrain up. And I immediately switch out to Thundurus because I have Electric Seed. So I get my defense boost. Earthquake's going to do nothing. Now you can't hit me. You do have a Clefable. I go for Acrobatics, which does 52%. This is a roll to kill from here. 52, and I think it's like something like 50 to 58 or something like that. I think it's about a 50-50. I say I'm going to go for it because I just need you weakened overall and I don't want you recovering. So go for Acrobatics. I get the kill, thankfully. Nidoking comes back out. This thing is a monster. It threatens Ice Beam into me, so I switch out. And I get predicted with the Earth Tower. Really great predict there. Thankfully, Crown has kind of done its job. The two monsters weakest to it are gone, but that is, you know, kind of disastrous anyways. But I do get a free switch into Bundle here, and I do have one turn of Electric Terrain back up still. So I get a really big Freeze Dry coming out of anything, or Ice Beam. Right. Salamence comes back out. Now you're outspeeding me. I don't want you to click anything to me that can kill me, even though I do have a good defense. So I'm going to sack Koko here so I can get the Electric Terrain back up. As you go for Stone Edge, which on a crit definitely killed. Without a crit, I don't think it did kill, but I don't want to get hit by a crit. So I say, okay, I'm going to let Koko go down here. I could switch out to Okidogi here, but I don't think it really gains me that much position. I just want to kind of sweep from here. I go out to Bundle. Freeze Dry takes a KO. It's going to take these last two as well. Except I should have packed on Ice Beam into this, which I didn't. Because it's not guaranteed a KO into Nidoking. It is a roll, which I do thankfully get. But that wasn't guaranteed. I just figured from there, if I got it low enough, then I could kill with Thundurus. And then, of course, it's going to kill Masquerada. So, once again, Bundle closes out another game. This Mon is stupid. This Mon's broken. 2 more matches. We're going up this week against Washer Machine, who just took over, I believe for Blue Jay, and made some changes to the team as it was before. This team has Terra Captain Zarude and Terra Captain Torn-T, which I think are 2 of the scariest in the division. I think Ogerpon and Iron Crown are very scary as well, but I think Zarude is just the tried and true draft Terra Captain. And Torn-T's just staying potential is crazy. I think, okay, this team has really scary offense and setup potential, and I really want screens here. So I'm bringing screens Koko for the first time. It is very relevant. I lead Koko into Tusk. I do threaten this with a Fairy-type Dazzling Gleam. It could KO unless it has special defense investment, which is not a risk I'm willing to take, I believe. So I switch immediately to Bramblecast. And I go for Rapid Spin. I'm not sure what they were expecting immediately. Maybe they just wanted to be faster than me the second turn. Fair. But that's just a free Bramblecast. And I get a free Strength Slap off. Thinking they might have an Ice Spinner for the terrain, and I just want to be at full. Zerg comes in. I'm fine. I want to preserve my Colbur Berry on this, so I go up to Hands. Hands has Electric Seed because I wanted Quark Drive, Attack, and Defense boost at the same time. That's not how it works. I learned this in game. So I have a very bulky Iron Hands here. That's not as strong as I want it to be. Darkest Lariat, I believe, ignores stat boost, but it doesn't matter into this. This thing's never breaking me, even with Terra Fairy. So they're forced out as I go for the Ice Punch on the Predict for Grace Tusk, and I luckily get a Freeze. This is pretty big. Obviously, from here, if it doesn't get frozen, I go back up to Bramblecast. We kind of repeat the same game. But because it's frozen, and Thaw Chance is what it is, and I'm so tanky with Electric Seed, I'm saying I'm just going to stay in. I'm just going to go for Swords Dance here. Swords Dance, Ice Punch will kill this. So I get that second Ice Punch off, and the sync goes down. Now, I'm very threatening to the rest of the team. There's nothing that can threaten a one-hit KO here other than, I think, Latios, if it is like Specs. If it's not Specs, I think I even survived there, and I can kill it back. They go out to Klefki. I say, okay, cool, I can get some free chip here. Reflector goes up, okay, it screens. I should not bring Brick Break. I probably should have brought Brick Break, but I did not. But oh well, we're just going to do a chip. I do have Defog on Latias, I'm pretty sure. This is why I said make Latias. They do actually really good chip. 33% into Iron Hands. I go for Ice Punch, predicting a switch into Latios there. It does not play out. I say, okay, they did it once. I'm not going to go for it again. I'm going to go for the Dream Punch, and then they switch out. They read me like a book. I do 22%, which is fine. It's pretty decent still, but now I'm in danger of KO from Specs into Lesser Purge. So I switch out to Latias because I know I can tank that, and I think I'm especially bulky, so I might be able to tank a Draco. I don't know. I'm just going for the prediction though. It is agility, so we know it's not choiced. I know for sure I can tank a Draco if I'm Mega, so I go for the Mega. They go for Ice Beam, they don't have it. I don't get frozen, and I KO back with Draco. That thing's gone. Iron Hands is super freed up against this team. That's very good. I switch out to Tapu Koko. I don't want to get hit with the Terra Fairy, Terra Blast. They go for Bulk Up. They start setting up on me. I have Reflect of my own and Light Screen of my own, so I'm going to get those up. Or Reflect at least. And now it's a boss battle against the Root at +1. Darkest Lariat, even with Colbur through Reflect, does enough to put me in range of a second one, unfortunately. I wanted to Strength Sap this back, and I wasn't able to. But now Crown can come out. Crown is set up. This is the one time I set up Crown this entire season. And I know that they're not going to stay in and go for a super effective move because they would die. But also if they do, I'm fine because I'm weakness policy, and I want that. I go for the agility there. I Calm Mind up. They're going to go for U-turn here. I see that this is banded now because I did a lot of damage. I say, okay, I'm in a pretty good position. I can sweep from here. So you can see at the top, I even brought Terra Dark so that I don't have to worry about Prankster from Klefki. But I forget that. I don't Terra. And I do some damage. I get it really low, but not quite low enough. They get off that T-Wave. 1 Turnipera. They get a Reflect. 2 Turnipera. They switch to Scissor. 3 turns of Para. I ran the numbers. The chance to freeze, 10%, and the chance to stay frozen for 2 turns. Overall, is about a 5% chance. The chance to get Para 3 times in a row is a 1% chance. I thought it was pretty fair because of the freeze earlier, so I was just kind of laughing in the moment. My sweeper just kind of gets completely eaten up by this. But it is sad. Unfortunately, Crown does not get to sweep from here. I'm just going to do the damage that I can. It's not that much, and knockoff's just going to kill from there. It's not worth tearing now. I want to put the tear on Ogerpon. Let's save it. I bring out Latias because I have Mystical Fire, and that's my answer into this even through screens. It'll do a lot of damage. They switch back out with Tornadus. I'm staying in. They switch into Scissor again. I roost up. They do not threaten with a Bullet Punch. I think that they went in thinking I can Bullet Punch, but not before the roost. But they stay in this time, presumably to go for a U-turn. And I do a lot of damage with Mystical Fire. It's just not enough. And that's very important. Because with Bullet Punch and Banded, this thing does crazy damage into Ogerpon and kills Tapu Koko. The only one that can take it is Hands. So when this goes down, I know I have to preserve Hands for this game. I need to keep Hands healthy enough that I can take a Bullet Punch at all times. Or Ogerpon, I get up Electric Terrain in front of this. I know they're going to start bulking up if I let them. So I get the Reflect up because I need it. I'm going to Volt Switch so that I can do some big damage and bring out Hands, because Hands behind Reflect is going to preserve enough HP and still be healthy enough. They go for Drain Punch. It doesn't do anything. I can go for Thunder Punch. I can bring it down low. They go for Power Up. That does a lot more. This is 33. I'm at 29. Still out of the range of Bullet Punch Banded. Even a crit won't kill me here, which is important. I go for Thunder Punch again. Goes down. Okay. We're back to Klefki. Klefki does threaten the KO with Dazzling Gleam. So to just switch into Koko, who does survive, but I don't get turn anymore. I don't really need it, though, for Iron Hands, because Iron Hands is never beating Tornadus anyways. So I just choose to get my light screen up, and so does Klefki. Klefki goes for an attack here instead of going for a reflect, which would have changed the game quite a bit. It would have made me need to really preserve Tapu Koko for Tornadus instead of Ogerpon, and at that point, I feel like the game was in their favor. Not losable, like 100% losable for me, but definitely in their favor. They don't go for it though. So I can go out to Ogerpon here, who is behind a screen, so Hurricane will not kill. I go for the Terra, I get my speed boost, and I go for my secret tech, Rock Tomb. I love Rock Tomb on Ogerpon. I try to use this at least once per season every time I've had Ogerpon. Every single seasons I've ever done, I've done 4 of them, I've had a different form of Ogerpon. This is my last one. It's just something that I wanted to do. And I'm really glad I get to use Rock Tomb here. It does 56, enough to 2-hit KO if I can land a second one. Hurricane hits, Confusion, no, I survive because of Light Scream. And at that point, Rock Tomb does connect, thankfully. I checked, and Ivy Cudgel does not guarantee a KO over there. And now they can go for Bullet Punch. But because I do not die to crit Bullet Punch, I can close out this game with hands. That was my closest game this entire season. That Scissor almost didn't end. Definitely a lot of variance with the freeze and the triple para, but overall I think it was just a very fun and well-played game. And this was the one week I didn't bring Bundle because I wanted to just play the team without it for a week. I wanted to let some of the other mons shine, and they did. Iron Hands especially. Went crazy. Alright, and that brings us to the final week of the main season. We haven't gotten to playoffs yet. Spoiler alert, I am guaranteed playoffs at 6-0. So this last week is just to guarantee that I get the #1 spot. There's no one else who's undefeated, but if I do lose this, then there's a chance that I can drop down to 2nd or even 3rd place. So I really want to win this and just finish the season undefeated because I've never done that before, a main season. So we have Moltres as a switch up now instead of Megalodios. And we're back to Bundle. So let's get into it. Last match. Samurott lead, I predict with Bundle. I am threatening so much with this. I see immediately a Scarf. That's really good information. They switch out to Ursaluna. I do have U-turn because it's super effective anyways, and I don't want to let this out for free. This thing is Terra Electric, as you'll see up here. And I got to Bundle. I'm going to make a mistake here. Bundle is Specs, so it will kill. Definitely with Hydro Pump if it's Terra, maybe even with Ice Beam. But even though it has a Flame Orb and just activated it, I'm like, what if it's Assault Vest? And what if this just KOs my Bundle? And then what if I have my answer to basically an entire team gone? I don't want that. So I go for Flip Turn. I don't want to stay in here. So I get the chip. I go to Bramblegast. They go for Facade, so it's fine. I don't take any damage. And I think I go for Shrink Sap so that I can just weaken it. But this lets Chiyu in for free. Chiyu is a monster. Chiyu is scary. Immediate switch out on a double. Smart double. I got to Blissey, so you get that. I have to go out to Moltres here, and you go for Ceaseless Edge. No burn, unfortunately. You do get Spike, but because you're Scarf, I know I can just defog freely. Diance's up. I know that Blissey, this is Mega by the way, can take Diamond Storm. They go for the Mystic Fire into Diamond Storm. I'm max defense. This is just not killing me. But because of that, unfortunate plus defense, I cannot kill with Iron Head anymore on Tapu Koko. So I have to go out to Crown. This is out to TU. I believe I just Volt Switch here, keep my momentum up. It's smart. So Chiyu can kill here with Specs. Specs Overheat does kill. Specs Fire Blast even kills, but it's pretty much my only option. I have to kind of hope it isn't. So I go for a Soft Boiled so I can keep healthy. They go out to Samurott. I switch here expecting the same thing, and they go for the Razor Shell, and they get the KO. I don't remember if that was a range or not. It might have been because that's max defense Moltres, but very good play. But this does let me get in something for free, which is going to be Bundle, which just does crazy damage to everything here. I do threaten a 2-hit KO on this. We got to Chiyu to preserve the HP after I don't go for Pump, and, you know, I bring you down low even. Nice double there, right back into Blissey. I can take anything you go for though, so I stay in. They go for a Flip Turn, go back to Chiyu, and I have a Teleport on deck. Or no, go Stealth Rock there actually. You expect, you can't kill me with Chiyu, so you switch out to Diancie, and I just get my health back. I know that I can survive it. You get your Diamond Storm, it doesn't matter that you get defense boost because I can bring in Koko now, and Iron Head will KO. So I believe this is the sack. Yeah, there's the sack. And now, where do you go from here? Samurai can kill with Razor Shell, I believe. But it goes to Ceaseless Edge instead. I don't mind if it kills with Razor Shell, though, because this is Terrain Extender. And every single mon on this team dies to Ice Beam, other than Samurai, which also dies to Freeze Dry. So I let Coco take damage because I basically get kills when Bundle comes in. And I go for U-turn. Now you're in range of Ice Beam. How many turns of Electric Train are left? 5 turns. How many mons are there on the other team? 5 turns. Bundle. Hit him with the Bundle Blast. No boots. That's 1 for Bundle. This is specs, right? There goes Zapdos, which is max special defense. So to kill this, it is a 50% roll. It is quite literally 50-50. I know from the rest of this team that I can beat it without Bundle. If Bundle goes down, now I just need damage on this. So I say Bundle, hit the Bundle blast again, it goes down. And that's it. From here, Bundle will get the last 3. 3, 4, and then Sinistra is 5, and that is Bundle's finest performance all season in the last week. Once again, showing how broken it is at closing out games, letting me clinch out the season at 7-0. It's not updated yet, but 7-0 and 23 differential. So I'm going to be in first going into playoffs, which is really nice. I've never actually gotten first going into playoffs before. I've gotten second last season of singles I did. I was 1 point of differential away. My opponent, Agents, got 2 6-0s in a row to beat me out at the very end, which is crazy. But I'm glad that I was able to clinch it out this time. And I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful that this is the season that I win my first draft league. Obviously, knock on wood, I'm not going to take it easy. I'm going to give it my all. But if there's a team to do it, I think this is the team to do it. This season's really felt good to me, and the format made sense. In a way, it's kind of like OU. I haven't really played that much OU, to be honest. But with a couple Ubers, or a Uber at least, with Iron Bundle. And it is Nat Dex, so I do have Nat Dex, Smooth Pools. By the way, Blissey gets Teleport in Nat Dex, very useful. It also gets Wish in Nat Dex. Unfortunately, it does not get them together, which would have been broken. But yeah, this is the team. I'm gonna take one more look real quick. It's almost an hour, so if you guys have been watching this entire time, thank you. That's a lot of time to invest in this, so that really means a lot. Bundle with these last 5 kills from last game is gonna go to 13. So if these 3 mons don't get 2 kills, Bundle will beat them out. If Spectrier gets 2 kills, but also death, Bundle still beats it out because it has only 2 deaths. But if they get more, then Bundle won't be first. That's fine. I wasn't really going for MVP this season. I was just going for wins. But you see, my second kill leader is actually Okidogi. Okidogi only died once, got 5 kills. For a starter, I think this mon performed fantastically. Iron Crown, also my Terra Captain, got 5 kills. Iron Hands, 4 kills. It got 3 kills all in one game. I think it only came twice this entire season. This is games played, right? Yeah, twice this entire season. It did phenomenally. You can see Bundle came 5 times. Crown came 5 times. Thunderous, 3-0. Apparently never went down. Came 3 games. Ting Lu came 2 games and got 2 kills and 1 death. Blissey came 3 games, 2-2. Ogerpon 3 games, 2-2. Tapu Koko came to 5 games and it got... Well, okay. This is not including the last week, right? So these are all going to go up to like 6 or whatever. But got 1 kill. 2 kills actually because of the last game. 3 deaths. Moltres was only in that last game. Bramblegast. Oh, this is from when Moltres was on another team, by the way, so this is not mine. Bramblegast did its job. I was very happy with it. It wasn't there to kill, it was there to support, and it did support. So that's the team. That's the Pancham Pianist of the BFR All-Star Invitational. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the season or anything for me, please feel free to leave a comment. I'm happy to respond to anything. And yeah, this is the last week. So playoffs, I don't know if they'll begin next week or if there'll be a week break in between, but I'm going to start uploading videos for that. So you should expect to see those when I get through them. And hopefully we have them all the way through finals and a victory one. We'll see. But But that's it for me for now. Thank you for watching. Pantheon Pianist out.